Hi everybody, I'm sorry that I can't be there in person to show you how to use the eXtension tools, but I hope that this presentation that I'm creating here will be sufficient enough for you to go ahead and get started signing up for an extension ID and kind of exploring the tools that we have to offer. The first thing that you're going to have to do, if you haven't already done so, is to get an extension ID. And the easiest place to go if you need to go and get the extension ID and learn a little bit about eXtension, you would go up to this URL about.extension.org. And when the web page pops up, you're going to see in this little black box area right here the Get Your Extension ID button and then Getting Started with Extension. The first thing that you're going to have to do is get your extension ID, so go ahead and click on that button right there. And when you are brought to this next page, if you want to go ahead and read through this, basically it's asking if you're eligible for extension ID, and if you're not associated with U.S. Cooperative Extension, some things that you need to get done. You have to get vouched for, basically. But being that you all are extension agents for the counties, you won't have any problem at all. So what you're going to do is, are you eligible? Sign up at people.extension.org now. So go ahead and sign up. Click the sign up button, and then it's going to bring you to this page right here, and it's going to ask you, are you eligible for an extension ID? Again, because you are part of the extension system in Kentucky, you are eligible for it and eligible to use all the tools within eXtension. That said, you can still use the tools without signing up, but signing up gives you a little bit more benefit. You can track things, you can join communities of practice, you can watch things and learn, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But it's a good idea to go ahead and join and make use of all the tools that eXtension has to offer. So go ahead and click on I am eligible, sign me up. Then at this point, all you're going to do is you have a screen where you have to fill in some information, and it's simple as putting your first name, your last name, your email. Then make sure you have a password that's relatively secure. You don't want to have anything like 1234 or the word password. The connection to extension, you can just say that you're a county agent, that's fine, or whatever that your job entails in extension. Put a phone number if you'd like, a title that you have, the time zone that you're in, being that you're in Kentucky and Lexington right now, it's a GMT Eastern time zone is probably what you're going to select. So if you are in Western Kentucky, I know that Central Time is something that you may possibly pick, and so if you have to, you can click on down here and select Central Time if you are in Western Kentucky. Then select a position that you're in. The best bet that you can do is probably a county agent educator. That's what I'm guessing most of you are. But if you can't find what you are, just select other, or the thing that's closest to your position. Oops, excuse me. Come on down to the location. You're going to be in Kentucky, so make sure you select Kentucky, and then it's going to ask you to select the county. So select whatever county you're in. If you're down all the way in like the W's, you can press W, and that'll take you to Warren County. You don't have to scroll all the way down. You can just select the first letter of the county you're in. That may make it a little easier. The institution, I'm guessing most of you are affiliated with the University of Kentucky, so select University of Kentucky, and then the affiliation, you can say extension agent, or basically be the same thing as the position that you've created, or has been created for you. Go ahead and sign up, and then at that point, you're going to get an email that's going to ask you to verify the information that you put in, and that's the email that you have put in up in here. So make sure you check your email, and it's going to ask you to verify. Go ahead and click on the link that allows you to verify who you are and that you actually have a valid email. And because I already have an account, I'm not going to create another one, so I'm going to hit cancel. And it's going to ask you to sign in pretty much like this. So you're going to put in whatever username you put in, the password that you put in, and then you can go ahead and sign in. Alright, and then at that point, if you take a look at it, you've been brought into Extension's People landing page. Now with this, you can go ahead and you can find colleagues, you can join a community of practice, you can search for people of like-minded I mean, it depends on what you're working on. You can find people that are in the same field. Maybe you can't have the answer to a question. You can look for somebody in Kentucky that is of the same the background as you, and you can find somebody that can help you answer questions. So if you select communities down here, if you would like to join a community of practice, we have around 80 communities of practice right now, and you all are not involved in any communities, but when you do, you're going to see your communities that you're involved with on the left-hand side of the screen right in here. These are all the communities, and I'm not sure what your all specialties are, but let's say family. I'll pick family care, family foods and fitness, or family caregiving. We'll pick something like that, and we'll go ahead and click on that. If you want to join that, you just select it by clicking on the link, and then just select join a community. What's going to happen is that your membership is going to be reviewed by one of the leaders, and if you click on leaders, it'll show you exactly who the leaders are, and then within about 24 hours, you're going to be accepted into for all intents, you're going to be accepted into that community of practice. What does that mean? It's all up to you. If you join the community of practice, you can go ahead and you can be as active as you want to be in learning and participating in that area of study. It's kind of like a social network. You're getting to know all the people that work in that same field as you, and it's a great way to kind of network. It's kind of like the LinkedIn for eXtension or extension agents. You go in and you look at it. You can talk to people who are the leaders, who are other county extension agents in Kentucky and other states. You would go in, select, look in as members. You can see anybody from the University of Kentucky who's also involved as well. And it's just kind of a great way to kind of network with other extension agents. I'll go ahead and click home right now. And then, so you've learned about the communities right there. Like I said, there's a whole bunch of them you can choose. And pretty much anyone that you want to is going to allow you to join. Like I said, it's up to you how active you want to be in there. I'd highly recommend that you get in there and, if at all possible, be somebody that contributes, that asks, that answers questions that get routed to you. Become what's called a question wrangler. And we'll talk about that here in a second. All right. The people, what that is, that just allows you to find, people in eXtension, or not necessarily eXtension, but also extension that have an eXtension ID. So for instance, if you say, oh, the guy that gave the network, I can't remember, and I'll write it up on here. If you do, that's me right there, and you do a search on me, it's going to bring me my information up, my ID, my email, who am I affiliated with, and if you click on my name, it's going to go ahead and give you kind of a kind of like a little business card, if you will. It gives you the information that you need to contact me if you have any questions about anything that maybe this presentation or anything like that. It also gives you some other things that you can work on in your profile that I haven't shown you yet. Is you can actually, if you look up your own name, probably the easiest way to do it once you sign in, it's going to show you the same stuff here. You ask an expert profile, create profile, data profile, learn, because these are all tools that you can use. And also it's going to be going to show you some social network connections that you can look at. If you have a Twitter account, a Facebook account, a Pinterest account, I don't do a ton of the stuff, but all of these networks, YouTube accounts, LinkedIn accounts, Google accounts. Google is one of the tools that we use quite a bit here at eXtension. Any one of those, you can add that, and if you want people to be able to contact you through that social network, you can go ahead and add that on here. Again, it just really depends on how much you are into social networking and using media like that. All right. So once you've all got signed up into People, you can kind of look into the next the next thing that you'd kind of do is want to look into the tools that you can use that eXtension has to offer you. One of the big tools that you can use is Ask an Expert. If you click on that, up in here in that link up here, basically what it is, as an agent, you're kind of tasked to answer questions that the public has to answer in your community. This allows people in your community, say you have a website, a county website, you can put, there's what's called a little widget that you can put in there. And if you don't have it already in your county website, what's going to happen is that if you put it on there and you've become a question wrangler for your county, you can go in and get a question that comes into your county website can get directed directly to you. And that's, it's just another way for your constituents to be able to get a hold of you. So to do that, you'd have to pretty much go back to people and create yourself a let's see, I'll have to go back one more. You'd have to go ahead and have an ask an expert profile. You'd have to click on that, and then when that pops up, you would go ahead and create, let's see, you could edit your settings, and then at that point, these little tabs right here you can change. The general, I'm on the general tab right now, and you can put a picture there in there. You can put you follow the thing, your name, email, primary location, time zone. You can put a little bit about you. I have still not put a picture of myself on there in 5 years. I still have this little bramble, so if y'all want to put pictures of yourself, you can do that, or avatar. Locations, this is a big one. You would pick your county. You'd first of all pick Kentucky if that's where you're working in. And then in Kentucky, if you want to answer from the entire state, you can do the entire state. But if you want to pick a county, select a county and type in, I'll type in Trimble or Trigg, and that would allow you to just select that county. All right. You can also add tags, things that are things that you deal with specifically. There are a set amount of tags. If you all are from family caregiving or family dealing with families, you can just type in FAM for families and select ones. The best thing to do is select ones that have a high number. Something like family with just a 1 beside it means that that's only been entered into the system once and it's not going to get a lot of hits. But if you do family caregiving at 535, you're going to get quite a few hits. Some of the major ones that get a lot of questions are horticulture. You'll see with Hort 45,482, but I'm guessing most of you aren't horticulture people. So you don't want to worry about that. Just try to put in tags that you deal with, that that will allow questions to get routed to you. Answering, that just if you do become a question wrangler, this allows you, if you go on vacation, make sure you mark me as away because your questions can build up. I'm a question wrangler in all, well, actually not all 50 states. A couple of states I'm not because they have their own system where they want somebody from that state to kind of route the questions. But if you don't mark yourself away, this little number right here, this tells you how many questions that you have in queue that are for you. This thing can grow, and because I'm, like I said, I answer questions from like 48, 49 states. In a day I can get 50 of these. If you're just doing it from your county, chances are you're probably not going to get more than a couple a day, and frankly, you're probably not going to get more than a couple a week. It's just depending on what county you are. Jefferson County, you're going to get a lot more. Fayette County, a lot more. But if you're out in I'm guessing Trigg or Trimble, you're probably not going to get very many questions at all. And so it may behoove you, if you want to use this, to answer questions from all around the state. But to see what questions you've got at this point that are assigned to you, if you just click on that red number, and that's going to go ahead and bring all the questions that you've got in. And like I said, I answer all questions. I don't really answer them. I do what's called question wrangling. What that means is I route them to the correct people. So I don't know anything about daffodils and lilies or a coontail or a globe willow. I have no idea what those are, but I know that this is a horticulture question that deals with flowers. I would have to look this up because I don't know what that is, and then I'd route that to somebody in Pennsylvania that could answer it. Probably a shrub or some sort of bush or a plant, and so that's probably horticulture. And like I said, most of the stuff is horticulture. There's a reason why we have like 47,000 questions that have been tagged with horticulture, as you can see when I showed you about the tags that you had to put in. All right. And there's also some metrics that you can look. My handling rate's 99%. That basically means that I answer or route pretty much every question that I get. Frankly, I don't know why it's not 100%, but something, maybe it's because I have rejected questions, I'm guessing. What I'll do is, if you get questions that are duplicate or sometimes you don't get questions. Some of the things that people put in here are absurd. It's like maybe kids that are playing with the system, and so you reject them as not being a question. Or if you click on it, when you click on the question, you can edit, reassign, close, or reject. Reassigning allows you to get it to another person, but rejecting it, these are the reasons. It could be spam, inappropriate content, duplicate, which is one of the main reasons I reject things. Excuse me. Invalid email or other reasons. And so, these are the, you can reject, there are many reasons to reject questions all the time. And that's maybe why I don't have a 99%, I'm not sure. So those are, that, if you can, become a question wrangler or become the online question answerer from your county, and let people know that they can do that they can sit there, and if they have a quick question and they're in front of their iPhone, or if they're out driving and they have a question about something and they want to just get it to you real quick, they can pull over and kind of text you via the Ask an Expert widget, and then you can start working on it. Or and if they're really out rural and can't make it to the county office, they can just use their computer and ask the question that way, and you can get the information to them. Some other tools that we got, and these are all the tools that we've got up here. I'm not going to be able to go through all of them at this point. I'm going to go through probably Learn, and then we'll talk maybe about Create and Campus really quick. But Learn's another one that's a really neat little tool. You really don't have to do anything other than go and take a look at possibilities for professional development. If you sign in, this is where being a eXtension, having an eXtension ID allows you to follow things, rate things, and kind of have a dashboard where it shows what you followed. So I'm going to go ahead and sign in with eXtension because I've already signed in. And then it just lets you know that you successfully signed in. And in this, it shows you, well, there's my avatar there, your activity, your settings, and log out. And all this stuff here is just professional development that people from all around the United States and the cooperative extension system are using, where they create basically online sessions that you can, like I said, seafood safety, whatever it is that their expertise is, they're doing it for the public and for other extension agents to look at, just for public, not public, excuse me, I lost the words here. It's the professional development. They're looking at the professional development right there. And you can look at past things too. You can search for answers too. If you have a question yourself about something, let's try. So you want to learn about mold. Let's try that. Let's see if we can find anything on mold. So there's nothing for mold. So how about family caregiving? We'll try that. Okay, here it is. When we take a look at family caregiving, these are all professional developments that have been given by different extension agents or different experts that deal with family caregiving in one way, shape, or form. So you can take a look at it and, excuse me, and then you should be able to, all you have to do is click on them. Let's see what that does. That one doesn't have a recording, so when it has a grayed out play sign, it doesn't mean that there's recording, but this one does. This actually has the recording on there, and you can say that you've followed or watched the recording, and this is a good metric for the rest of eXtension, because it allows us to see how useful this tool is. All right, so I'll go back up to the top here. All right. And again, please, if you have any questions, remember, go into People, type in Nick Brody, and just take a look at my email address. Email me, contact me some way, and I'll be glad to answer any questions that you have about any of the tools that I'm showing. Campus is kind of like Learn, but it's like an online place in which we have different courses. If you all want to create an online class for people in your county, you would just contact us. And you'd say, look, I want a place to put an online course in Moodle. We'll help you out with the instructional design, help you kind of walk through the idea, and you can go ahead and put in If it's a 4-H, a home and family class, pest management, there's all sorts of classes that we can, there's tons of little classes that you can go ahead and look at here if you want. You can enroll if you want, or you can create your own. And like I said, if you create your own, just let us know. We'll set up a space for you. And you can use you can use Moodle to go ahead and house the class. Some of these are a little bit more complex than others. I have to admit I haven't looked at every class. This one looks like it's a you have some activity documents and things like that. I'm not sure exactly what the class is for, but each class is different. You can put video up there, audio. You can have quizzes, discussion forums. It's basically, it's sponsored by eXtension, and you can go ahead and just use this as a tool if you want to put information up that you want to have in a course format. All right. The last thing is that if you join a community of practice, and I'll quickly just go over this. I don't want to over inundate you with all sorts of information, but if you go to Create and you join a community of practice, this allows you to kind of put up stuff onto the actual national site, and which is www.extension.org. And I guess that's the last thing that I'll show you, extension.org. But this is the site where all the stuff that is on the live site gets created. That's why it's called Create. If you're part of a community of practice, and here are the ones that I'm involved with: cotton, community nutrition, beef cattle. I help them kind of work on some of the stuff that they need to put up. If they're not sure how to get things formatted and things like that, I kind of help them with that. And this is a Drupal, kind of an online content management system, and it's just an easy way. It's a very easy way to put stuff in that gets onto the live site. You're probably not going to be using this unless you're part of a community of practice, but again, I'd really urge you all to join a community to kind of social network and think of it as one big community of cooperative extension across the United States. The live site, as I said, www.extension.org. If you click on that link right there, it takes you to the live site. And this changed from time to time, but this is a great place where you can send people to find answers, and you can use to find answers. Right now I'm in North Carolina, so it's going to show me as North Carolina AT Cooperative Extension, but if I was actually in Kentucky, it would show University of Kentucky or K-State. So again, let's talk, say you had a question about mold. Here, if you type in the word mold, it's going to look, and basically what's going to happen is within the eXtension website, it's going to look for all the articles that are written by the experts on mold. And if you want to look at something about cleaning up mold, you would just type that into the search bar. And again, I have mold in my home. How do I get rid of it? And so you can take a look at this. And this was written and this right here is from the Agriculture Disaster Preparedness and Home Energy Communities of Practices. And again, with all this stuff, you can connect through each of these through Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, all this kind of stuff. And hopefully you're watching this through a YouTube video channel right now, but I just created it on my own just so you could all watch it. Pinterest, if you want to pin it. There's all sorts of stuff that you can do from the extension.org site. The best bet, I mean, if you have questions, the best bet is to ask me, or just kind of, you can't break this. Go ahead and it's a great little place to kind of look and see if you can find it useful for your work. I mean, it's got tons of resources that you can use. It links to all the classes I talked to you on about you at on campus. It'll link to the professional developments on Learn. If you you'll see tweets from the extension 4-H or any of the communities of practice. They'll have the tweets up there that they put on there. So you can, if you want to follow their tweets, you can do that as well. Pretty much anything. I mean, anything that you can think of. We may have answers to tons of questions, and I do believe we've changed the look of the www.extension.org. But if you come to the bottom, you'll see the communities that are on there. These are not the communities of practice, but what we have is basically, we have so many communities of practice, we can't put 80 of them on there. So we broke them down, and each community of practice has a kind of a head community that we got, or it's the community under which all the like community of practices go under. And well, in fact, I take that back. This is the communities of practice. These are the resource areas: community, disaster, issues, energy, and then each one of these are the community of practices on under there. Let's see. That's pretty much it. I mean, there are tons and tons of tools that you can use on the eXtension. That eXtension gives you as resources, and I really urge you, contact me, use them, get in there and make use of these things. They'll make your work and life a lot easier. But it's really up to you to get in there and use all this stuff. Again, I hope that this has been useful to you. I hope that you can take away from this video or this presentation, that you have this stuff at your fingertips. It's free. You can use it. It allows you to connect. It allows you to use the resources that eXtension, which is part of the cooperative extension system, gives you. And just feel free to use them. Feel free to contact me. Again, my name is Nick Brody, nbrody0001@extension.org. That's my email. You can contact me. Go to people, look me up, call me if you have any questions, and I'll be glad to help you and walk you through some of these tools. I know it's a lot, but if you can, get in there and start using this stuff, and it'll really help you out a bunch. So that said, I think I've taken up about 30 minutes. Enough of your time. Have a good day, and I hope the rest of the day and that your careers go wonderfully.